Call of Duty Vanguard is here, and I gotta say, it feels pretty good to play something new. Before I get into the main topic of this video, just a bit of business, my G Fuel code Dysfunction is 30% off right now this weekend, November 4th till November 8th. You can click on the link in the description below. It'll take you to the G Fuel page, stock up on your favorite flavors. You don't even have to type in the code. You just click the link, it auto-applies you to the checkout. It's that easy. Okay, enjoy the video. In this video, I'll give you my quick and dirty review after only about 6 hours played. So obviously, this is going to be subject to change, and please take it with a grain of salt since I have been making content on the same game for 2 years now, and any change from that won't come without some kind of bias one way or the other. So here are the positives. So it's been a long time since a COD game launched and it's felt nearly complete at day one. I think a lot of this has to do with the number of launch maps. So like thinking back, World War II, which was Sledgehammer's last game, had about 8, maybe 9 maps at launch. Modern Warfare, I think, had 6 playable S&D maps. And Cold War, I think, probably had about 8 as well. And Vanguard launched with 16 playable maps for S&D, which feels so refreshing. I'm sure I haven't played all of them yet, but I can say there's probably only 1 or 2 that I can say I really don't like right now. The movement feels good. Not amazing like Modern Warfare, but it's certainly a step in the right direction after Cold War. I like to see the delay between standing and crouching shortened. Right now it feels a little bit clunky. And I'd also like to see the drop shot nerf first introduced in Cold War be removed as well. It's always been my opinion that core movements like that shouldn't be locked behind using an attachment or perk. I mean, we've had drop shotting since, COD 4, Modern Warfare 2. The one thing that is positive, though, they did take away the nerf to bunny hopping and jump shotting that Cold War really just had a hard-on for. Again, I'm not sure why they did that. They kind of just flattened the experience, in my opinion. But again, that's not a problem in this game. Gunplay and hit reg feels pretty good and consistent. There's only a few instances where I felt like there was one player I couldn't touch. But again, that could be chalked up to launch day server issues or something. Obviously, connection is always going to be kind of a random factor, but I think it feels pretty good so far. One thing I can tell that they changed from the beta is the penalties you induced from putting on an attachment, they feel reduced. In the beta, you could put on a stock and it would destroy like your sprint out time or your ADS speed or something like that. This feels a little bit better, more in line with Modern Warfare, which I think overall is really good. Perk balance initially seems pretty strong. Having to choose between Fortified, Ghost, and Ninja is a tough decision, for instance, but the fact that they retain Dead Silence as a field upgrade does make that a bit more palatable. Overall, I see the 3 perks broken down into 3 pretty rigid categories. So perk 1 is kind of like defensive perks, the second slot is more offensive type perks, and the third is utility. So, for instance, Ghost, Fortified, Ninja, they'll kind of protect you from the enemies. In perk 2, you have Tracker, High Alert, Radar. They kind of give you more intel, more offensive capabilities. And then in perk 3, you have things like Overkill, Lightweight, Double Time, things that kind of give your character more utility. And I guess, easier ways to move around the map, that kind of thing. It's kind of been a while since, I actually can't really remember a COD game that has had such rigid categories for perks. So it'll kind of be interesting to see how that plays out, how they interact with each other as the game ages and the meta kind of shakes out, which will probably happen within the next month or so, I would see. So seeing how those trade-offs work within each category is going to be interesting to me. Now for the negatives, and I gotta say, I don't have a lot of bad things to say about the game right now. Again, like I said at the top of the video, that is probably subject to change. So right out of the gate, and I see this complained about a lot on Twitter and in my stream and in the game, that the STG is insane. And I gotta say, it's a little hard to tell if that's actually true right now, because you gotta remember, pretty much everybody pre-ordered the game, I think, or maybe got the last battle pass for Cold War and Warzone, has a really, really good STG blueprint with really good attachments. So you see a lot of people just defaulting to that just in order to compete. And so it'll be a little while before people rank up other guns to the point where they do compete with that blueprint. I will say the MP40 is really strong, as you see I'm using it in this gameplay now. I certainly don't think those things are going to be non-meta, but I do think that nobody's really unlocked everything yet. We really don't know how things are going to work, so give it time, but obviously they probably will need to nerf some things. One other kind of minor issue that I could see them tweaking is equipment and field upgrades have a massive delay on spawn, which for respawn, not a big deal, but in S&D, you spawn in every round. You can't use your stims, you can't throw a smoke, you can't throw a nade off spawn. It's a little annoying. I think they should reduce that pretty much to 0, if not maybe like 3, 4, 5 seconds. Right now, it feels like it's over 10, maybe 15, which, depending on the size of the map, can really impact your initial break off into a rush round or something like that. Another kind of smaller thing is kill cams are very short. I know it's not a huge deal, but Modern Warfare had this perfect. And it feels like they've halved the duration for no reason. This was also a problem in the beta. Maybe something they'll address. I know they got feedback from that from, you know, more senior members of the content creator community. Another thing, the MVP, again, this is small and kind of petty. The MVP voting at the end of each match is, I'll be honest, kind of fucking stupid. I think it just wastes time. Ideally, I mean, in my opinion, get rid of it. I think it's stupid. Ideally, I guess this could be shortened to like half the amount of time. It's, you know, it's whatever. Really, the only other negatives I have, I've kind of said already, like drop shot nerfing and the crouch and stand delay. Things they could tweak, hopefully will. But when you have things like, you know, blocking drop shots behind attachments, I think that's kind of a hard thing for them to just remove. Overall, the game is not the reinvention of the wheel like Modern Warfare was, but it feels like a really consistent experience, and consistent enough for Modern Warfare and Warzone, where I really think I'll find this enjoyable for a year. But I am curious to know what you guys think. What are your thoughts about this game if you've played it, from what you've seen, what you've heard? Be sure to let me know in the comments. And be sure to like and subscribe the video for more. Like and subscribe the video, that makes sense. Like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Until next time, take care. Hey, be quiet.
That was bad.
Alright, I got a flame knot. We're going in. And a glide bomb, actually.
I got UAV for
I'm
you
gonna
too,
set
then.
it to 7.
UAV.
Okay, that feels a bit better. It's up top.
Dude,
I'm really not
Come
liking
on.
this map right now,
There
and
we
I
go.
loved this map in the beta.
I'll get one kill with it, yeah, hell yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't
fuck it.
Use it though.
Gotta watch the bomb, bro!
It looks cool. Did you pop it immediately, or did you rush up first?
I didn't rush up, no.
Oh, yeah, rush up first.
I should have. GG! Hope you guys have a good night.
Nasty.
I'm Team MVP, vote for me, please.